Next up is a French entrepreneur who is also a PhD in AI. I didn't know that existed, but he does. And he also is an entrepreneur on privacy. Long time friend, seasoned entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur from here in Paris, because we go all around the world, but we also have a French entrepreneurs. Ran Hidi.
Thank you, Loïc. Is this working? Okay, great. So you heard Loïc, I have a PhD, so everything I say must be true, okay? Who here has heard about ChatGPT? Oh, the clicker is not working. Okay, sorry. So who heard about ChatGPT? I can't really see. Okay, great. Who can tell me what AI actually is? Do you want to try a definition? Okay, go ahead. Almost. AI is basically reproducing human behavior in a machine. And there are multiple ways that we can do that. One of them is called machine learning. The idea of machine learning is that instead of telling the AI what to do, you show it examples of the behavior to reproduce, and it learns by example to reproduce the behavior. Kind of like a kid, you know, you show it a few things and it just learns eventually to do those things. And within machine learning, there is a technique called deep learning, which is just a way of learning for machines. And deep learning is not a very complicated technology. It's very simple, actually. You have what's called an artificial neural network, where you have layers of what's called artificial neurons, the dots here. And the whole purpose of deep learning is to learn from those examples how to connect those dots and those different layers so that you can represent patterns, thank you, about the data that you're looking at. So for example, if you want to recognize a cat, instead of telling the machine that a cat is cute with mustache, which would be pretty difficult actually, you would take every pixel of the image and feed that to the first layer of the neural network. So you haven't said what a cat is, you just basically gave the raw data, the pixels. By combining the pixels from many pictures of cats, the AI learns the concept of an edge. And then from that concept of an edge, it learns to create its own representation of what a cat is so that it can recognize that is a cat or not in the picture. What's really amazing about this is that at no point humans had to actually tell the computer what to do. In fact, humans don't even have to understand what a cat is for the computer to actually do it. So we've used this technology for a while to make AI do things, driving cars, for example, better than humans, controlling your house, responding to all kind of queries that you might ask your assistant. We use it for medical imaging. We have AI today that can diagnose better than doctors on X-rays and MRIs. We also have AI that beats pretty much every human at every game. And that's a very interesting example, because in this case, AI basically played against itself to learn how to play the game. But now we're getting into a phase where AI is inventing things. You can ask AI to generate text, like ChatGPT. You can ask it to code, which is pretty amazing, not so good for me, to be honest. You can ask it to recreate the voice of someone who's dead. Joe Rogan had an interview with Steve Jobs, who's been dead for 10 years. And if you listen to it, it sounds like Steve Jobs. It uses the same ideas as Steve Jobs. What does that mean for us when people are dead and we want to talk about them in the future? We can also get AI to produce images quite well. So here it's funny images. I ask it to create a raccoon wearing an astronaut helmet. Why not? But the same way, you could also start building new realities. You can ask the Pope to wear a puffy coat. The Pope never wore a puffy coat. In case you were wondering, this is fake. But it's fake to a level of realism, which is so scary when you think about it. People have used actually that, what's called deepfakes, to even create TV shows with celebrities that actually were not in the show. So here is a show in England with Kim Kardashian and Will Smith. None of them played in that show. They took actors, and using AI, they put the face of Kardashian on the actor playing her role in the TV show. How amazing is that, right? But of course, people also use it for political manipulation. Trump did not get arrested. This is fake. And people use it to scam. This mother, for example, had a call from her daughter saying, "Mom, I've been kidnapped. You need to send money to the kidnapper." Imagine how the world becomes if nothing you see, hear, not even your kids' voices, you can trust. This is a real problem in AI. Not AI killing us all and taking our jobs and so on and so forth, but AI disrupting the concept of reality. So how far will it go? Well, in the past few years, AI has grown exponentially. And for a while, the game was, let's build bigger models because bigger means better performance. But fortunately, we're now seeing that this is starting to have diminishing returns. Building bigger models is less and less improving the quality of machine learning models. So we're kind of like following an S-curve rather than an exponential curve with the current paradigm. That is great because it means we have a little bit of time until we figure out how to create another S-curve above that to actually get to something even better than that. So I think the next few years isn't going to be about something dramatically different from what we have now. It's rather going to be about using what we've got now in all kinds of different places. So yes, AI will change everything about society, but it's not going to accelerate as fast as it has in the past few years. But even if it did, let's imagine for a second that we could actually build an AI as big as a human brain that would be able to do what a human brain can actually do. It turns out that if you want to reproduce the connectivity of the brain in AI, it would take 500,000 times more energy to actually compute. Your brain works on 20 watts. That's less than a light bulb. A light bulb is all you need for a brain to work. An AI needs 10 million watts. That's a small power plant for one AI that only replicates the human brain. So this is the point I'm trying to make, is that right now, with the technology we have, AI doesn't scale. It's impressive, it's amazing, it will disrupt reality, but it's not yet the super intelligence people tell us is actually going to happen overnight. So why am I talking about this? Well, because when people think about AI, they think about intelligence. But is consciousness actually simply an emanation of the connectivity of the brain? Is recreating an artificial brain enough to recreate artificial consciousness? I think that this, for me, is a real question. Because if indeed we can recreate artificial consciousness, then how do we know that we aren't ourselves artificial beings with an artificial consciousness living in an artificial world? How do we actually know that all of this is real? Thank you. So I guess I went a little bit quicker than I was supposed to. Do you have any questions? No? Who wants to live in the Matrix? No, right? Nobody wants AI to be conscious, right? No, I definitely hope not as well. Yes? Okay. Yeah.
Wait. You need a microphone.
Oh, sorry. I was maybe not supposed to take questions.
Because we have also people. No, it's your home now.
Okay, great.
But we also have people online. So
okay.
Can you say this in English again, please? That was English.
So I can't see you, but I see roughly the direction.
Don't touch the microphone. Leave them time to. Yeah.
Thank you. So my question is about the future of AI. So you talked about the leveling off of advancement. That's in the current paradigm, neural nets. Then you have the symbolic school, top-down. But there's a new development in terms of evolutionary programs within AI to boost the performance. So I would like to hear your thoughts about what is the next paradigm possibly of within AI, beyond just neural nets as we see today?
Well, if I knew, I would be building the next OpenAI, right? No, I think it's not very clear. I think what's really missing in AI right now is a context awareness, right? So it doesn't have a concept of context. So for example, if you and I had dinner yesterday, we could talk about it today without actually being explicit about what we're talking about. I could just say, hey, dinner was great, right? And you would know I'm talking about dinner yesterday and not dinner 5 years ago. If you're talking to an AI and the AI doesn't have this context about the person it's talking to, about the world it's in, it's not going to be able to be as convincing as a human in a conversation. So I think that's going to be a huge leap forward that doesn't require building bigger models. It just requires giving more fresh, accurate data at the time that you're talking to the AI.
Here. Okay, so we take this question first, then the question from the Kogis. Perfect. You have a microphone coming to you? Where is the microphone? You have a what?
I have a question.
Please. Yeah. Okay, all right.
So in one of the slides, you mentioned the power uses between the human brain and an average AI ML model. So do you think it's fair to compare something which is biological as compared to something which is in silico, which is running on chips?
Well, what's the point of building AI if it's not to be better than humans?
But then,
Like, when you think about it, like, if we're not going to be able to do better than biology, then we should just use biology. And you know what actually is a biological intelligence that you teach stuff to do? A kid, right? So, like, you know, at the end of the day, if AI isn't better than biology, let's just have more kids and let's just teach them more stuff. And it's going to be way more fun than coding, I can tell you that.
but it is very task-specific in general, right? Because,
Sorry?
It is very task-specific in general. AI is very good at very narrow tasks, which humans are not good at.
I know.
So,
I'm exaggerating for this show,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But of course.
thank you so much.
Like, I've been in AI since 2003, so like that's 20 years now. And it has changed a lot. And I have to say, when I saw ChatGPT come out, I actually didn't believe it was as it was supposed to be. And I tried it, and I tried to trick it. You can trick it, right? It's not perfect, but it's really damn good. And I can use it in a bunch of different places where a human would have been good, but maybe I just don't have the money to pay a human, right? Maybe I don't want to pay a human. Maybe like I just don't trust a human, whatever reason. So I think it's not that AI is better than humans, it's that it gives us the opportunity to multiply the scale of human intelligence, and I'm saying human intelligence, not consciousness, on a whole different level.
I have a very special person to ask a question, and then I'll get back to you.
Sure.
But please, you'll have a Kogi question now.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Yeah.
Hi.
Oh, both of them too. Yeah.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien.
Hola.
So, por favor, senta.
Okay.
Por favor. Yeah. Por favor.
Bueno, estaba pensando cuando todas estas explicaciones estamos hablando como si fuera a hablar en otro mundo, otro pensamiento. La pregunta es, el hombre quiere hacer todo en artificial.
We should translate a bit.
I'll do the second because he's been explaining to me right now. I'll summarize it then.
Okay.
Be on point.
Entonces, ¿dónde va a estar el personaje que nos creó el mundo? Que creó el agua, que creó la tierra, que nos creó al ser humano, que creó los animales, que creó los árboles. ¿Dónde va a estar el pensamiento de ese personaje? Con el pensamiento artificial. ¿Cuándo se ha puesto de acuerdo con esos personajes que ya creó todo? Que ahora nosotros queremos crearlos. Entonces, sí se han hablado con esos padres espirituales, sí se han hecho un acuerdo con padres espirituales, si nos han hecho algo que no está dentro de las normas naturalezas, normas ancestrales, eso pienso que vamos hacia un exterminio del ser humano. Entonces, quería preguntar, ¿dónde se han hecho ese acuerdo con las madres naturalezas para poder hacer todas esas cosas que se quieren hacer? Es como si fuera la pregunta.
So yeah, I'll paraphrase it a little bit because we've just been sitting there and he's explained me some more details, and it's important to understand some of the concepts. So the Kogis see there's two types of thoughts. There's the thoughts, I would call it, of the earth, of the creation, of what we have in the natural world, because they don't believe it's random. They don't believe in the Big Bang. It's a conscious act of creation. And then there are the thoughts of humans that we have. And in the beginning, you started with the definition that basically AI is the reproduction of behavior, maybe even of knowledge of humans. So what about the reproduction of the knowledge and the behavior of creation, of the earth, of the plants, of the animals? And then there's the second question, but that's the first one.
Okay, well, so I don't know how to answer that. in a way, if you actually believe that we are in a simulation, it kind of answers a lot of the questions because, who created the simulation? So at least, there's something before in a way, right? There's something outside the box that we can relate to. So I find, the simulation idea to actually be very close to the concept of religion when you think about it, right? Because, it implies that there is someone who built the simulation in the first place. And so it's very possible that we might create our own simulation in which, the next generation of artificial, people will experience things the way we are experiencing it now. I'm not saying that's the case, right? I really hope it's not, because it would be very depressing, to be honest. But we can't tell. If you're inside the game, you don't know that it's a game, right? And that's why it's so mind-blowing. And the only thing that we can tell is if we can recreate such a game that is indistinguishable from reality, then it at least creates the possibility that we might ourselves be in one.
Okay, I'll try and explain the idea of a simulation to the Kogi now.
Watch Matrix is the best example.
It's a tough one.
You're asking a tough question. No?
Yeah. Bueno, él está diciendo que ¿cómo sabemos quién creó el mundo? ¿Cómo podemos saber si todo lo que percibimos, o sea, todo lo que pensamos, lo que es la realidad, el mundo, el planeta Tierra, si esto no es como una ilusión, como un juego, como algo que no existe? O sea, si estamos adentro de eso, ¿cómo sabemos quién lo hizo? O sea, si estamos dentro del mundo, debe haber alguien de afuera que lo creó. ¿Y cómo podemos saber quién es? ¿Cómo podemos saber si fueron los padres espirituales? ¿Cómo lo podemos saber si estamos dentro del mundo? ¿Y cómo podemos saber que, como del pensamiento humano, cómo podemos saber si es diferente del pensamiento de la Tierra? ¿Cómo lo podemos saber? Esa es la respuesta a la primera pregunta. La segunda, del permiso, todavía no le pregunté. Ahorita le voy a preguntar, pero eso es lo que él respondió. ¿Está bien? ¿Le pongo la pregunta? He had the second question, which is kind of first thing on the first one, and he said, if there is basically the Mother Earth, the creation, the whole world, did you ask for permission? Or, he's asking all of us. Did we ask for permission to build something artificial that is not in accordance with this law? And who did we ask the permission to?
Yeah, it's a good question. So nobody who's been in AI actually thought that they would be able to build AI at a human level, right? It started let's try to predict what kind of music people like to listen to. Let's try to, give better advertising on Google. Let's try to make cars that drive themselves so that we don't have accident. Let's try to diagnose diseases so that we don't have to rely on doctors who are honestly not enough to help everybody else. So there was always a very specific goal. It's only recently that people started believing and wanting to build, I would say, a human level intelligence. Why they would want to do that? I'm not very sure, to be honest. I don't think it's particularly useful unless you believe that there is a chance that the human race might go extinct, and that might be a way to, as Kurzweil believes, to create immortality. Upload your brain into an AI, equivalent, get into a simulation, and then, whatever happens to Earth happens to Earth. So I find it to be a very pessimistic view of the world to believe in artificial human intelligence. That's why I don't believe in it, to be honest. I think that this is real. I really think that this is real, right? And I don't want to even know that it's not, to some extent.
Bueno, él dijo que, ¿cómo lo explico? O sea que al final él no entiende por qué la gente está creando eso. O sea, mucha gente al principio, como comenzó todo, estaba pensando, bueno, ¿qué tipo de música la gente quiere escuchar? ¿Qué tipo de, no sé, cosas la gente quiere hacer? Y así se comenzó poco a poco a poco. O sea, no, eso lo que vemos ahora, eso del nivel así, de tanto, no era así. O sea, hace algunos años de poco a poco se hizo. Y esa idea de crear algo artificial que es como... por ejemplo, la idea es que van a poner el cerebro humano en una máquina y cuando tú te mueres, tu cerebro y tu pensamiento sigue ahí en esta máquina. O sea, te vuelves como una máquina. Y él dice que piensa que es una forma muy triste de pensar sobre el mundo, porque esta gente piensa que el mundo se va a acabar. Y poner el cerebro humano en una máquina es la única forma de cómo podemos sobrevivir como humanos. Es algo muy triste.
AI is plan B, basically. Plan A is Earth. If we mess this up, AI might be plan B.
Bueno.
Thank you. Thank you. Gracias.
I'm sorry we don't have more questions. I'm sorry we don't have time for more questions, but please pause a second with me and see what's happening here. We have an AI French entrepreneur, expert, PhD, amazing brain, but not only brain, really cool friend too. Please talk to Rand. We have Lucas here, who has learned for 6 years with the Kogis, right?
Yeah.
A few years.
On and off.
Because nothing happens like this, right? I don't call the Kogis and, hey, I'm Loic, you know. No. And we have a Kogi master, Luciano Arregoces, who is talking on stage with 40 people, 40 countries, and online more, about AI. This is a dream. Why? I mean, seriously, like, by the way, I'm not, as we say in French, I'm not sending myself flowers. That's not. I'm trying to be conscious of what's happening here. This is the most important, because if Rand starts creating AIs and whatever he's creating, which I'm sure is great, without connecting with the planet, with the intelligence of plants and nature that we are representing here with the indigenous leaders, and I would love to have a Puyanawa come back anytime as well. This is how it should work. So that we preserve the planet, so that we preserve this intelligence. People might not see the intelligence of nature. And that's the theme of PAUA. This is why I pause on this. Natural versus artificial. Natural versus artificial. You're not
Real.
so artificial. Don't we like that Rand is the union leader of all the AI in the world right now? But this is how it should be. I think that they should talk, and that's that we're trying to do. So thank you so much for.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ran.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks a lot.
Short enabled this, so this is great. I hope this happens more. We have a video. Thank you, Ran. By the way, AI is every talk almost, so don't worry for questions. I'm sorry if I could not take that question. Everybody's talking about AI. So the medicines of nature, sadly, are not always in free access. And our friends here from Brazil and Colombia, where access to plants is as it should be, plants are free, is not easy here. We would love to have all of us participate in ceremonies. This is as close as we get to a ceremony. We're doing at the closing a Cacao ceremony, a medicine that we've been enjoying in the form of chocolate or in the form of whatever it is, drinks. It's also very sacred for some indigenous people, for some of you too. And so we're sharing that at the closing of PAUA. There is a Cacao ceremony. And right now we'd like to show you a quick video, if it's ready, that Solène Mukande has here for us.
Peru is mostly known for Machu Picchu, the majestic Inca citadel, but fewer know that this millenary country has other hidden treasures. The golden Chuncho cacao is one of them, and Peru is the legitimate cradle of this plant in the world. In 2014, vestiges of 5,300-year-old cacao were found within a spiral-shaped ceremonial area. a tomb belonging to a woman priest was discovered, where she offered cacao and other seeds to her gods as a symbol of fertility, prosperity, and cosmic connection. Today, the spirit of cacao is emerging strongly. We, through Cacao, the first initiative to safeguard ceremonial cacao in Peru with the golden chincho, are reawakening the wisdom of plants based on the legacy of these lands. We are on a mission to impulse the presence of the cacao plant, activating and freeing its voice to become visible and accessible to more people on Earth.
With the new technologies, prosperous economy and system shall be written, where our minds will be decolonized with assistance of plants for the benefit of our future generations. From our hearts, we invite you to join this organic global community to heal the human experience together with the plant of love, cacao.
Upstairs, we have one last talk. So Solène prepared this cacao video for us. Upstairs, we have what we call a market. These are not your typical conference booths, right? Like, these are people we invited because we like their products, and they're our guests here. And so Solène is representing that cacao brand. Please try it. We did, and it's really good. And everybody on the market here are guests. We might have some indigenous, some selling some. I would love a Kogi bag, for example. I think it's very cute, but. You're selling Kogi bags?
Yeah, we're selling them.
Amazing. How long does it take to make a Kogi bag?
Can I step up?
No, just tell me because we need to.
It takes 1 month.
1 month to make a Kogi.
It's a sacred ceremony because the women put their thoughts, the circle of the thoughts of creation into this bag. So it's not just a bag.
So it's not, let me repeat this. The Kogi bags are not just a bag. It takes 1 month to make by hand from women there, and they put their thoughts.
It's their form of meditation.
It's their meditation they put in the bag. How many of these bags do you have?
Think of the origin of the connection to the earth. And whenever they do that, they meditate.
They meditate when they make the bag. These are very, it's not like any bag, right? And you cannot get that. Can you save one for me? Because they will all go. You have a lot. Okay, all right. And maybe Puyanawa also have some things for you, or Jiboyana.